What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the ranch. Appreciate y'all coming back and hanging out with us. We are in full agricultural engineering mode here today. We're going to give you a little peek into what we're building. So for everybody who didn't listen to their teachers in school, that's us included, and thought we'd never use things again, we were wrong. So we've got trigonometry going on here, a little bit of algebra, along with fluid dynamics and hydraulics to come up with our project for the day. We plan on taking that ATV UTV sprayer and taking it from a spot sprayer into a fan spraying system where we can just drive along in the trusty old RTV here and be able to have a boom out the back of it that will create we're thinking somewhere around a 7-foot spray swath to be able to put out fertilizer and weed killer and all that on the yards and any other small acreage that we have. We've been using this ATV sprayer for a few years now, and what we've decided to do is we're going to take basically where the wand goes into the pump and run it up here to the front, and we've got our little tubing here, and it's going to run up to this valve, which will be just a 3/4 inch ball valve here, which will be probably zip tied here. Nothing really fancy, something we can cut loose and take off pretty easily, and then it'll come out the valve, and the plumbing is run right underneath here, and then we'll come over to here, and that end will plug into our boom. And we have our boom set up here with the fluid coming in here. This will be suspended off of the back of the RTV off both edges, and then we're hoping, if as long as flow rates match up and everything, once we get the nozzles set up, we're hoping we'll run 3 nozzles, which will give us approximately a 7-foot swipe, which will be put into here, and we're going to do some testing with 2, and if 2 works good, then we're going to add a section here for the 3rd, and then it will spray about 1 foot to 1.5 feet either side of the RTV. So we calculated up that the sprayer has a 15-gallon capacity, and based off of the flow rates that we're looking at with this pump, which is a pressure sensitive pump, so whenever it reaches max pressure it shuts off. So that's how the wand aspect of it works. But with the valve up front open flowing, it should continuously run until the operator shuts that valve off and creates the pressure. So if we have to move places or turn around or whatever, or have a problem, we can shut it off there. And then the sprayer should run for approximately 12 to 13 minutes solid spraying. So we're thinking that we can get about an acre's worth of spray time in on the RTV running back and forth. We'll fill it up a little bit, give it a little free. We're going to flush out the pipe, make sure everything flow-wise is working like it's supposed to before we get nozzles to place and get the boom hung and test out fan motors and all that. The master plumber. Not for hire, right? Right. Flowing, good flow through the valve. That's kind of the ins and outs of it. At this point, we're waiting on UPS or FedEx or whoever to deliver our nozzles. So we're kind of at a stopping point. So now we wait. Also, the other day we got Frank back out and put a little rabbit tea on a few of the pastures, which is it's fertilizer. It's rabbit feces fertilizer is what it is, to put it simply. But it goes through a process with enzymes and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, we were just trying that out. We did it a little bit last year, and I think we're going to go to it more prevalent in our system this year. And we're going to do that. We put that out on a few of the fields a few days ago, and we got a rain last night / this morning, which was pretty prevalent. I think they checked the rain gauge this morning at 1.5 inches over last night, and then we got another 3/10 or so throughout the morning this morning. So all that being said, we feel like that rabbit tea system and fertilizer works best, pretty similar to commercial fertilizer, in that if you put it down and get a decent soaking rain on it, it works so much better. But we'll see. Growing season is in full swing right now, so hopefully the hay pastures will come along. And also we put it out on one of our grazing pastures too, to try to help hold animals for longer before the pasture gets overgrazed and we have to rotate them out. What are you doing? Say what?
Vacuuming my car.
Why are you vacuuming your car?
Because it's dirty.
Tell us the real reason.
I'm going to Houston this week to play with my grandbabies.
We've also started breeding season out here at the ranch. So we got the girls divided up. And that little fella right there is over here doing his job. Babysitter by day, boyfriend by morning and evening. So hopefully he gets all these girls out here taken care of in our 90 days window. We do have a few that still have to calve. Some of the new cows that we purchased, they are scheduled to calve any day now. They're starting to dominate a little bit. That one there was born just a few days ago, about a week ago, I guess. So they're calving, and hopefully within that 90-day cycle, we'll be pushing it. But hopefully within that 90-day cycle, they'll be able to get rebred by Iron Man here. So we ran into a little bit of an issue during our testing. And we got these little nozzles here. If you look right there, there's a 4-digit number. I know it's upside down. The number 6520. We learned something new today. We learned through some phone calls and some investigation, some Googling and all that the 4-digit number pretty much is standard across the industry for spray nozzles. And that 4-digit number is a 2-part number. first two digits mean the degree angle of spray. So the small one here was an 0508 is the number on it. So it has a 5-degree spray pattern. It comes out of the nozzle. These yellow ones that we got, it's a 6520. It's a 65-degree spray angle. So that affects things. That affects the pattern, which then affects, based off of how high the boom is, the coverage of the nozzle during application. Whether it's 5-degree, 65-degree, that all comes into play into the calculations and all that stuff, like we talked about at the beginning. So yellow nozzles, cheap nozzles, we bought 6520. The second part of that number is the flow rate associated with that nozzle. We learned that in setting up the spray rig process, we know about flow rates and GPMs and all this, that, and the other. We ordered these nozzles, and we found out that, but we didn't have any kind of data off these nozzles. They were just kind of a cheap pack that we bought. We didn't have any data off of them. And we get them in and we run it through the test, and the flow rate for the nozzle is way too high for the pump to be able to supply. So the flow and the pattern is not very good at all. So we're trying to figure out what exactly, what we can use, and in lieu of that, or try to figure out how to determine which nozzle we need for this particular application. So we went and got a little small nozzle off of Frank out there to try to see if maybe this might be a better option, and we still didn't know the flow rate of this. But if you'll look on this one, upside down again, there's a 4-digit number on it too, 0508. Commence test 2.0. I don't think that's gonna work. So the flow rate on this one, 65 again is the spray angle pattern. 20 is a 2.0 flow rate on the for that particular spray nozzle. 2.0 meaning GPMs. And I don't see where I put that other one. There it is. So on this one we have a 0508, I think. It's hard to see. Well, I know it's 0508, but there you can see it, right? 0508. So 5-degree angle and a 0.8 GPM flow rate on that nozzle. So like I said, some of you probably already know that. We didn't. We learned it today. But why that matters is because on this UTV spray or ATV spray rig, it has a pump that already came with it. And that pump is rated for 1.0 GPMs. So if we have 2 nozzles here, and remember our plan is to have 3. We have 2 nozzles here that are 2.0 GPMs. Just with these 2, they're trying to flow 4.0 GPM, and that pump can only put out 1.0. Therein lies the problem. So we're going to do another test with these smaller nozzles off of Frank out there, our big spray rig that we pull behind the tractor, to see if we get a better pattern, a better flow rate out of these nozzles. And if that's the case, and it backs up what we have learned, then we're going to order a new set of nozzles, and then at a later date we'll complete this project, and we'll show you what it looks like. So we got to get those nozzles out. I bought some adapters to go down to a 1/4 inch, put the adapters in, put the new nozzles in, and then we'll run the test. So if you've been following along with us for a while now, and you saw our video on Frank, we basically had a spray rig go down, axle break, and so basically pieced and parted together a trailer, spray rigs, plumbing, all kinds of stuff to create Frank. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But say all that to say that if you have followed along, this is where we're kind of getting some of our parts and stuff from, just as testing or whatever. And Frank is what's called a boomless sprayer. So it has this spray head cluster on it that, you know, there's a bunch of different nozzles inside of there that allows for it to cover based off of their spray angles and flow rates and all that. It allows it to cover, you know, the swath of 30 feet or 40 feet or whatever it ends up being. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, but this is what we're going to be robbing these spray nozzles off of just for the testing purposes. So we're fixing to take that off. 2 spray nozzles off of Frank. Put them in this little adapter here. We'll plug that into our sprayer boom for the side-by-side. All right, I'm going to try to get this test done with one hand. Wish me luck. Alright, pumps on. It's pressurized. Like I said, we have our valve here. We got to replumb the line. Alright, that's what your 5-degree angle looks like. Looks like it's decent, but it's not going to work for our path, but we now kind of can confirm that what we thought is true. Oh, we got a lower flow rate, 2 low flow rate nozzles in there, and it does a lot better. Obviously, the 5-degree angle you saw by the test, that's not going to be conducive for what we're trying to do. The way the boomless sprayer works is it, you know, it has the head like I showed you before, and it's going to take that 5-degree angle and launch it out this way and launch it out that way, and as it goes out that way, it's going to spread out and cover a certain area. Well, this is going to be a boom sprayer, so we're going to have a suspended boom down there, and the nozzle is pretty much going to be down there. So we got to have something with a wider spray angle to do it, and we've determined based off of our calculations that a 65-degree spray angle is probably best, and that's what we calculated everything off of. And as you'll see, these nozzles 65 degree. The problem with these nozzles is the flow rate's too high, so we're going to order some new nozzles with that 65-degree fan pattern coming out with a lower flow rate so that we can get all the way across coverage and not outrun the pump. And we're learning all this kind of as we go. You know, we know a little bit about hydraulics and flow rates and all that kind of stuff, and we've done spraying for years now, but never really understood the theory behind it. So we're kind of expanding our horizons today, and we by no means think that we're the most intelligent farmers or slash ranchers out there, nor do we think that, you know, that the way that we do things is best. You know, we're always out trying to learn and everything like that, and we just want to share our experiences with y'all. So we're learning as we're doing this, and we're trying to create that boom sprayer so that Nana has a way to be able to apply fertilizer and weed killer and all that, you know, across a 1-acre yard, or, you know, maybe you know, we got a little small acreage out here that we keep steers on or whatever. It might be easier to be able to hook this thing up and be able to run it up and down on a side-by-side than it is to hook the big spray rig and all that up to get larger acreage done, as well as navigating the side-by-side in those small areas is a lot easier than getting the big tractors turned around or whatever. And if we're doing it in a yard, sometimes the tractor tires will tear up the grass. So that's kind of why we're doing this. And we're just happy to share the experience with you. And when we make mistakes, we want to share those with you too. And so we're learning here, and that's kind of how things go. So eventually, we're gonna have 3 across here. But right now, we're doing 2 with our testing. If you notice, we put the cap here to be able to add an additional section out here for the 3rd. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tear these back apart. I'm going to return those nozzles back to Frank and get everything kind of put into a holding pattern. We'll get some new nozzles ordered, and we'll see y'all in a few seconds but it may be days on our end.
Okay, here we are, the final test of the spray rig. The operator's in position where she would put her hand on the valve to open it. Put your hand there, please. And rotate it forward. Now I'm fixing to put the power to it. And we're going to walk over here. Close the valve, please. All right, go ahead and open the valve. And it's building pressure, and it has a good spray pattern. See the spray pattern on the ground behind the dog. Turn it off. The goal was a 7-foot spray pattern. As it's set up right now, about 7 foot, 7'3". What you see over there is runoff from where we were spraying it. Nice wide angles on the 3 nozzles. You can see there's nozzle there, and nozzle on that side, and then we just have it tied up here with rope where she can just loop it over those ends of those tailgate and be in the right position.
So really, moral of the story is we try out here at the ranch. We don't always achieve it, but we try to accomplish or set out goals for each and every day. Set out goals and try to live by 3 accomplishments every single day. And those 3 accomplishments are to learn something new every day, leave something better than you found it, and do something nice for somebody other than yourself. Those 3 things provide the true meaning of joy that can't be matched by material things, can't be matched by money, it can't be matched by searching after all the false things in the world. So if you can learn something new every day, leave something better than you found it, and do something nice for somebody other than yourself. If you accomplish those 3 things within a day's time period, I promise you, you won't have a bad day. And if you are having a bad day, you can look back, and I would say with a 99% degree certainty, you can look back and see that you did not accomplish those 3 things within that day. I know that's true for me as we go throughout the day and everything. So, like I said, we're not the most intelligent people on the face of the planet, and we saw a need here, and we decided to further our horizons by learning something new. We learned about spray heads and flow rates, and we pulled out the old geometry and the algebra and everything that went along with this. We're creating something new that makes life out here better and easier. Leaving it better than we found it, and doing something nice for somebody other than yourself. I can almost promise you that I may not run this thing, and Poppy may not run this thing very much, other than testing and all that. But this makes Nana's life easier because she doesn't have to go around with her spot sprayer and try to cover a whole yard's worth of time. So I say all that to say, not to toot our own horns, but to give everybody encouragement of doing those things will provide you the joy in life that you can't find elsewhere. Learn something new every day. Leave something better than you found it. And do something nice for somebody other than yourself. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you again on the Harris Family Ranch. Y'all make a hand somewhere. Go bless somebody today.